Welcome to our Improve Your Self-Esteem session. So I'm going to go through what I'm going to talk about this evening. But before that, let's get our attention to this moment and relax a little bit. So maybe you've been busy, your mind might be occupied with other things. So let's bring our minds here and then we can take in as much as we can from the session. So just sit comfortably. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open, it's up to you. But first, follow your breath. Just bring your attention on your breath. Observe your chest moving up and down. And take a few deep breaths in and out. Relax your face, your shoulders. See if you can let go of the weight of the body and really relax. And keep yourself fully present for the next 45 minutes. And now turn your attention inside in your mind and see what kind of feelings, thoughts you have in your mind. Is it busy? Is it relaxed? Is it bored, excited? Whatever it is, just make a mental note of it so you can come back to it later on and see how you feel. And now repeat this sentence in your mind. I'm worth the best of everything in life. And just check how it feels. Do you accept it? Do you reject it? Feeling worthy of best of everything. And again, make a mental note of it. Maybe there is rejection or total acceptance of this sentence. Whatever your reaction is to this sentence, you will give a mirror to the beliefs that you have about yourself, about life. So just good to make a note of it. And then coming back to this moment, and let's begin. So I'm going to talk about, firstly, just to clarify the terms, self-esteem and self-confidence, because they can be used in different meanings outside. So I'll just tell you briefly how we use them. And then what does true self-esteem look like, what it means, and then where should we base our self-esteem so it is always stable and we can always rely on this feeling that we have this support system inside ourselves that gives us that confidence, knowing yourself, having that value for yourself. And then what happens in life, and then we end up losing our esteem, self-esteem, and then some antidotes for those things I'll talk about. And then I'll talk about some tips and tools that you can use to to start changing your belief system, the habits that you bring you down in terms of your self-esteem. And that's about it, really. So firstly, let's have a look at the definition of self-esteem, um, because you can hear self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, etc. So when we talk about self-esteem, it's more like the worth that you feel for yourself, the esteem that you have for yourself. So self-confidence, when we use that term, it's more about the things that you do, and then the achievements that you have, etc. And you feel good about yourself because of the doing. So that's self-confidence in terms of term. It's based on your skills and talents or your look, etc. So external stuff. But when we talk about self-esteem, it's the self-worth that you feel as a human being, how you feel about yourself deep down. No matter how you look on the outside or what things you have on the outside, and no matter what kind of feedback you get from the outside, positive or negative, this deep feeling, whether it's high or low, that's the esteem we are talking about. So if you have low self-esteem, for example, you you might be doing things okay, and people might be giving you positive feedback, but you still wouldn't be able to accept it in the long term, for example. So let's say you did something, somebody said, oh, well done. So you would feel good, but until the next time, maybe let's say you make a mistake, and then you would feel awful again, and then maybe you will need that assurance again from outside, because you don't have that feeling for yourself on the inside. So you will get knocked down easily by your own mistakes or criticism, etc. So your emotions will be like a yo-yo. It won't be that stable. So that's when you have low self-esteem. And so when we talk about true self-esteem, is this healthy level when your sense of security about yourself, that value, is not dependent on external factors. And they always change, don't they? There's life's ups and downs, people change, circumstances change. So it's quite a good thing actually to have that self-esteem for yourself in your inner world that you can rely on, you can have control over. So if you have this kind of self-esteem, you know you're authentic. You know you're unique. You know you're valuable. Like the sentence I talked about, um, having that worth. I'm worthy of everything best in life. And if you have this kind of self-esteem, you wouldn't be arrogant about it, because when you have that kind of self-esteem, you will feel it for everything around you, for other people, for the things you have. So everything will look valuable. So there won't be that kind of arrogance. And the dialogue in your head will be like a best friend talking to you. Your thoughts will be uplifting, supportive. They will enable you to move forward. For example, you made a mistake, you might regret it, you might feel bad about it, because we want to improve things. So when we feel guilt and shame for a short period of time, it might be healthy, so I can improve myself. But if you have low self-esteem, you would go on and on guilt and shame, which almost paralyze you. But if you have that kind of deep, healthy level of self-esteem, those good feelings for yourself, you would pick yourself up easily, and your mind will work on solutions. What can I do about this? I can do something about this, rather than feeling helpless. So imagine feeling like this. This is a very free way of living, very empowering. You feel in control. So is it possible to live like this? Of course it is. And then your feel good factor stays constant if you base your self-esteem on not the external stuff, but yourself. So what does that mean? To base your self-esteem on who you are. So who are you? Who am I as a human being? So the, so I'll talk about the the making up of a human being. But I think when I'm talking about this, if we can summarize it in one word, I am as a human being. I'm not what I do. I'm not what I have, but I am how I do things. What do I put behind what I do? Is it with a positive quality? Is it with a quality that's uplifting me and others? So that's the key sentence really. It's not about how I do it, sorry, what I do it or what I have, but it's about how I do it or how I use what I have. Yeah, so let's talk about that. So I can talk about, so human being could be like a tree with roots at the bottom that no one can see, and the branches outside that everybody can see. And we can also use the analogy of iceberg, so you can use whichever you like. But the part outside is, it could be my physical appearance, my job, my possessions, and those kind of things. Um, and because these things are visible, we usually focus on those things because that's how we've been taught, that's how everybody's doing it. So we think, that's the thing. If I sort that bit out, then everything will be all right. So let's have a look at this outside section a bit more in depth. So it could be my self-image, how I look in terms of physically, or it could be how I do things, how I handle things. That's my self-image. It could be my relationships, how I'm with people around me, and depending on the situation, how people are responding me at that moment. Could be negative, positive. People change, I change. Our moods change from moment to moment, don't it? So it could be my job. How is my job going? Do I have one? Do I not have one? So if I'm feeling good about myself because of this, when it's gone, how will I feel about myself? It could be my hobbies, what I enjoy doing, what I like. Let's say if you like a certain kind of film and you think those kind of films are I don't know, like high value, good quality films, you would want to talk about them. But if you like films that people might think, oh, really? Maybe you wouldn't want to talk about them that much. So that would be a secret. So things you like will also shape how you feel about yourself if you base your self-esteem on that. Possessions. Let's say you can upgrade your phone and then do you feel bad about it, or you don't have a house, how things like that, you know what I mean. Family, so all of these things. So if my relationship is okay with my family, then I will feel okay, and etc. So it's all about if it's all about these things that are on the outside world, and the one common thing about these things, they all change. So when they change, my self-esteem for myself also changes. But there's nothing wrong with having value over these things. Of course, I need to look after my physical body. I need to do my job well. I need to give love and appreciation to my family, get love from them, because we need love, we need happiness, we need belonging. These things are essential. That's why we are in this world, to share, uh, to uh, to give energy to each other in this way. Um, but if these things are changing, and if I'm basing my peace, my love, my happiness, etc., on all these things, when they change, I will start to feel anxious, fearful, angry, insecure, because you're not in control and they're changing all the time. So then that's quite a negative space to be in. So to have fulfillment in life, I need these things. One, I love peace, happiness that are stable, um, but I need something to base it on, something stable. So that stable part is the bottom part of the tree, the roots, that holds the tree together, doesn't it? Or the big section of the iceberg that's underwater. So what is in this section that I need to base my self-esteem on? So this is my emotions, my feelings, my innate positive nature. You can call it spirituality if you like. But this innate nature, this positive nature, is what's underneath. That's what I was talking about when I said it's not about what I have, but it's about how I use them. So this positive nature, if I use them in my life, that's how I will feel about myself. Let's say I'm doing something and I'm doing it with rushing and peacelessness. And at the end of it, how will I feel about myself? I will feel exhausted, maybe angry, blaming others, etc. But if I'm doing something with kindness while being kind to myself, peaceful, considerate, etc., at the end of the day, I will feel good about myself. So hopefully that makes sense. And these positive qualities, that's where our true power lies. It's a bit like what your body needs is good nutrients, and what our minds, our spirit needs, these true powers to feel us, and also to make us feel good. The more I use this energy of positivity, the more I bring it to the surface, then I will feel good about myself. So that's where I need to focus on mainly. So that's what it means to understand myself. What are these good things that I have inside? Maybe I'm not using that much because of maybe I want to protect myself, or I'm fearful of situations and etc. But we'll look at them. But what happens is when we start looking at these bottom section, the emotions, the feelings, my qualities, there might be a lot of stuff which might not be so pleasant. Maybe I don't want to look at them. But underneath those surface feelings, the negative stuff, which is acquired things that in life due to situations. So the more I look at what's going on inside, and then we will also talk about how we can do that, in a healthy way without being hard on ourselves. Then I can start to feel my inner peace, my loving nature, my inner strength, my wisdom. So that's all in there, but I might need to dig deep a little bit sometimes. And we all have these inner qualities, 100%, 200%, and we all use them differently. And these energies inside, these positive energy inside, cannot be destroyed. But it can get hidden under the, insecurity, negativity, and stuff like that. But you need to, look inside, observe yourself, and tune in and turn inside, meaning kind of quietening down your mind, stopping the stories that go in your mind, and then see what's going on inside. Excuse me. The positive sides. Then I will find stability. And then when you use these positive qualities in your life, it's like the root of the tree, because the roots are healthy. Everything else on the outside will get fed from that powerful roots. Your relationships will be healthier, your health, your physical appearance, etc. So things will fall into place because I'm working from the roots rather than outside. So let's give an example. Let's say I have a team. Let's say I'm a boss at work and I have a team under me. And then if I'm focusing on the role, how I should control people, then how they should do their job, just the job description. If I'm ticking those boxes, people might not feel appreciated, or the energy might not feel good. And then if I base my identity on this role, let's say something happens and I lose that job, I will feel, oh my God, it's all gone. Who am I now? Excuse me. But if in that job I learn to work with people with respect, let's say kindness, or maybe I learn to work with them with, bringing joy to work, bringing out creativity and that kind of thing. What happens is if I lose that job, firstly, I will definitely have good relationships that will continue. And secondly, I will have these skills that I use to build on people's skills, knowing myself, my inner qualities, as well as, a kind of working with other people using these qualities. So I will have definitely loads of tools with me that will be used in every kind of situation, because these positive qualities are universal. You can use it in any job. It could be a creative job, it could be a boring job. Okay. um, and then it's important to realize that at the moment, if I'm basing my attention on my job, let's say I love my job, I go there and I feel so happy, and because of that I feel creative, I'm nice to people, etc. It's important to start now. Then I'm feeling happy not because my job is great, but because I have these qualities in me anyway, so I'm using them, and the job is just an instrument to bring those things out. So even just looking at the different areas of your life, if you are already using these inner powers, you can kind of expand them, which again we will talk about in a bit. So if this is our inner nature, uh, inner quality, why can't I access them all the time? Why don't I feel peaceful and powerful and wise and whatnot all the time? Uh, because our focus, our attention is on the outside. The way we learned to feel good about ourselves, the way we thought um, how things work. Let's say, like I mentioned a minute ago, like I am happy in this relationship and I can be very giving and loving, and I'm thinking I am like this because of the relationship, let's say. But actually, I just need to switch that thought and see that I am that positive person using it in that relationship. So I need to start making my mind work in that way. I hope that makes sense. So I'm seeing myself as the source of that energy, that goodness, rather than saying it's the relationship, for example. So even if the relationship is gone, I can still say I am a loving person, and there will be another opportunity to express these feelings. So I can't feel like this because I'm putting my attention on the outside, thinking that those things are giving me those good feelings or will give me those good feelings. So that's the mistake we make, but because that's how we've been taught. So when I think like this, I create some patterns that will lead to low self-esteem, because the worth for myself, I feel for myself, keeps moving because of these factors. So let's have a look at them. So the first one is when I put all my eggs in one basket. Let's say I talked about the relationship or job. If I'm saying, okay, this job will give me everything I need, happiness, peace, etc., and I put all my attention on that, um, and then when the job is gone, I'll feel horrible. So what is the antidote for this? Again, if I look at the qualities that I want to use, let's say I'm a very generous person by nature, let's say. So I start to use this generosity not just in the job or in the relationship, but I start to use it in different areas of my life. Maybe there will be people that I won't want to be generous with them, but I start using it gently and gently. Or maybe I'm generous in my relationship but not at work. But then as a human soul, as a human being, we are designed to express ourselves in different areas, in different roles. So this energy needs to flow evenly. No favoritism. basically, so that I can feel stable. So if I can start doing that, expressing these good qualities in every single area of my life, then I'll feel more balanced. And if I lose one thing like my job or relationship or my health or whatever, then I will still be stable because I'm still able to use this energy, this positivity in other areas, which gives me the opportunity to feel that positive energy inside. So, so that's the antidote for all eggs in one basket. But also check with yourself honestly if you find it difficult. If you find difficult to do this, let's say being the same in every area of your life, let's say honesty or assertiveness, then ask yourself why. Why not? Why is it easy for me in this relationship but not in that one? Why can't I let go of being so focused on my job? So that's a question that we need to ask ourselves. Why is this thing, what is the gap this thing is filling that I'm so holding on to? So that's an honest question to ask ourselves. So that's number one. And number two is comparing myself. um, and if I do this, then I will easily get influenced by opinions and also my inner talk. So antidote for that is I need to get to know my inner qualities again. So very similar antidote. And then when I know my strengths that are giving me power, then I will stop comparing myself. And when I stop comparing myself and I also start appreciating other people's values and uniqueness without feeling bad about it. You know, I get inspired rather than jealous, for example. And another big one is perfectionist mindset, you know, having high expectations on yourself. Again, um, when we are learning something, it's very important to see it as I'm a child. I'm almost like a child. I'm learning something, and when children are learning something, then they enjoy it. Um, they're not hard on themselves when they're learning to walk, for example. They fall and then they get up and etc. So if I'm learning things, or if I'm, and also if I'm making mistakes, how can I learn to be gentle with myself? How can I change that talk in my head to something positive? So um, learning this kind of positive language, these affirmations, you know, when you make a mistake, for example, can you really say, I've done my best? And can you feel it, for example? That kind of changing the language, how you're speaking to yourself, that kind of acceptance. So that's the antidote, getting to know yourself, getting to know your positive qualities and talking to yourself, you know, having that, catching that negative dialogue that says, oh, it's not enough. And you say, no, I've done my best. And in time, you start to feel that that's the truth. And that's the best way to learn, best way to improve. Nobody really learns from being beaten by, you know, it could be your inner dialogue or someone else's criticism. So that's another one. And the other thing is we really take other people's moods personally, even if we don't know them. It could be the look of a stranger that really makes us think, gosh, did I, you know, is there something wrong with me? You know, things like that. Um, and if I'm not especially self-reliant emotionally, then I get influenced. And also, if that's the thing, I try to please other people. And again, this is mostly from our upbringing. And when people are not feeling good, I take it personally. So that's a really insecure place to be in. So how am I going to learn to feel good about myself? I rely on my own feel good factor. So you could do journaling, you could do spending quality time with yourself, positive self-talk, all those things, and we will talk about some how we can change your belief system, how you can enjoy your own company, even doing something you enjoy, even for half an hour. If you do that to yourself, you start to feel, you start to enjoy your own company. Yeah, and then that makes it easier not to take other people's moods personally. So that's that. And the last one is not being assertive, not having clear boundaries. Again, this comes from fear of rejection. Um, because that's such a huge thing, rejection for a human being. There's a huge fear, so we don't want to feel rejected. So that's why we can't be assertive. Um, because if I say, "Oh, this is my boundary," then the others might say, "Oh, okay," or "Forget it," then, and we might be left alone, rejected. So that's a scary thing. So what I need to do is, again, I need to learn to um, communicate my boundaries, but very what is the word? Non-violent communication. And this might take some time to learn, especially if I'm somebody who hasn't expressed their emotions, their feelings a lot. They suppress, then it might come out a bit, untidy. So it's a good thing to practice. So you can do visualization, writing, how you're going to say it, etc. But the first thing to know is you need to get to know your own values, what's important for you. So you need to look at that, and then you need to express it without blaming. But there's another angle to that is you don't want to be like a box that people can't get through you. You've got to be flexible. And then how do you know when to be flexible? When to flex with your um, what is it, boundaries. So the idea in there is you can ask yourself this question: is this a principle or a preference? Then you can flex if it's a preference, but if it's a principle, then you would say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So it could be something like if you're a vegan, you wouldn't eat animal products. That's your principle. But maybe you will go to a restaurant where they serve meat, etc., but you don't have to eat it. So you prefer a vegan restaurant, but you go to a when things are normal. Of course, maybe we can't do it at the moment, but you get the point. So is it a principle or a preference? So these are the things that might knock down our self-esteem. Then how am I going to boost my self-esteem? Especially if you have low self-esteem, you'll have this inner critic. It might be quite a strong dialogue in your head. So how are we going to shift that? So how am I going to know the bottom of this iceberg, the roots of the tree, going through my emotions and seeing the goodness, the beauty inside? So I need to spend time with myself. It could be meditation, journaling, and you don't need to sit in one corner and try and empty your mind. Meditation is all about healing this dialogue with yourself, talking to yourself nicely, teaching yourself that that's the truth. You are worth the best of everything in life. And it starts with best thoughts in your mind. You are worth enjoying your own company rather than beating yourself up. So I really need to persevere with it, and that's the best asset of our minds: perseverance, and it will change. So in terms of digging deep, when you look at yourself, not reacting to emotions, not to feel bad about them, but let's say you made a mistake and you're feeling horrible, but just looking at it with kindness, it's okay, and starting this positive inner dialogue. So as soon as you let's say feel horrible and feel guilty about something, you instantly use something positive towards yourself, kindness or joy, or whatever. Let's say you can do something kind for yourself, or you can share it with somebody who will show you kindness, somebody whom you will not get dependent. So I need to trust that the goodness is in there. So it is there, 100%. We know it's there because that's what we look for in life. That's like the DNA is searching, craving that. And also, those are the things that give us energy, those positive qualities. But again, as human beings, especially as adults, we need proof of that. So, how do I get the proof that I have all these inner powers, inner goodness that will make my life beautiful? Um, so, the first exercise to do is look at your life. First, look how you are using these things already: peace, love, joy, wisdom. Maybe you're not able to use it for yourself, but maybe you are a very good friend and you can do that for someone else. So have a look at how what you are already bringing to life. And secondly, use them, start using them. Maybe choose a quality, and then I'll share a product with you later on. You can choose some qualities from that and just see, actually, maybe you are already using them. So you can start using it with people that are, you get on well. Maybe you can move on to people who are you find difficult. Let's say kindness, for example, or assertiveness. So that's the first one. So building trust in yourself that you have those inner qualities. So look for how you're using them already, and also start practicing them. You'll be amazed, because when we don't use these qualities like kindness and um, anything positive that gives us energy, that warmth inside, it feels quite powerless. And when we just keep getting this from other people, it doesn't feel good when you don't give it. uh, I hope I'm making sense. It's very empowering to start using them. It's almost like you're like sustaining, almost like a mother or a father. It's very empowering. If you are parents, you will know. So that's the first one. And if that's really difficult and you can't see anything, that you can't use anything, just ask yourself some questions. Find out about your inner strengths. So maybe you can say, what would make me get out of bed jumping with joy? What do I like doing? And then dig deep. What is underneath this thing that I like doing that gives me so much joy? What is the quality? So that is your strength. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, look at the people that inspire you. If you find people inspiring, look at their qualities. It means actually that those qualities are already in you. That's why you can resonate with them. That you find attractive. And another thing is, if there is a quality that somebody has, let's say they're very patient or they're very friendly, and you say, gosh, why am I not like this? Actually, that means at some point in your life, if you believe in many lives, maybe in another life, you had this quality. It was your biggest power. Now you're craving for it because maybe you haven't used it a lot, or maybe you don't see it that you're using it. So that's another sign. You can ask yourself these questions to find out about yourself. So how am I going to do all these exercises when I'm feeling negative about myself? Because if you have low self-esteem, that language is quite strong. So how do I do it? So the practice we do is, you start observing what's going on in your mind, like we did at the beginning. You step back, but also you accept. And then you either confront it or you swap it with another thought. So basically, you're going to stop believing everything you think about yourself. So the idea behind this is, thoughts come and go. And because they come to my mind, it doesn't mean they're true. So maybe they're coming because I've been thinking about the same thoughts again and again. It's like a machine, habitual thing. Maybe that's why it's coming, and I don't need it. It's just automatic. So maybe that could be one. Or the other thing why they might be coming is, maybe there's a belief system I need to change. It's not helping me. So it comes to say, look, you need to work on this. So looking at that thought and saying, oh, it's not really helping me. How can I change this? let's say, I don't know, oh, you can't do this. And you say, but why not? That's just a, like simple example. So, yeah, so challenging how you see yourself, stepping back and accepting, oh, wow, interesting. And then either confronting, saying, no, I don't want to think like this anymore. I don't need you. Or you look at the thought and I say, oh, actually, it is like this. So you change it. So that one, stopping being that inner critic. But again, you might say, it's easy to say stop, but that's the thing. We just need to practice this stepping back, looking, accepting, because it's a positive energy. So you accept it. This is how it is. What is happening in my mind, in my life, and this is how I want to change it. But in the process, you will feel up and down, and it's okay not to feel okay. Even accepting that, because we are healing. Remember, so you need to be very, very gentle with yourself. And another thing is really important is I'm here. Like you're listening to the seminar. You're here because you want to learn. You want to change, be better, more positive, whatever. So that's what we do. I mean, if we went to learn yoga, we wouldn't be hard on ourselves when we couldn't do a pose. It's the same. If my thoughts don't change instantly, I do it again and again. So it's important to say, wow, amazing. I'm here to learn. And I'm so lucky that I'm aware of there are things I want to improve, because not everybody is. Yeah. So in this process, you can use many, many tools. We have different seminars as well that will give you tools on meditation, visualization, and etc. But in terms of self-esteem, it's really important to reflect on your achievements. So that's the big one. Looking at your day and look at what you've done. So it's almost like gratitude for yourself, which we talk about in our gratitude session. What I've done, even the tiniest steps that you achieved. And I think journaling, self-reflective writing is a big one in terms of changing our habits in terms of negative talk. Yeah, that's it really. And in terms of the product, I was telling you about it, the qualities. Now I don't know why it is not coming. It happened before. Okay, there you go. So these are called self-mastery cards. They are really, really beautiful. And let me share my screen. I can show you. I think you can see. So these are, I think it's about 60 cards in them. They all have different qualities, and then it gives you a definition of that. And you can choose them for different areas of your life. Yeah, we used to do that for the new year. Maybe we might do something later on. But you can choose for different areas and practice different qualities. So they're really beautiful, and you can get them from us. I put all the information there. You can call us or email us. So these are self-mastery cards. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me.